throughout May, people have been debating about Chud the Builder, and this was before he got locked up for. The debates have been happening all across social media platforms, but in particular, these debates have been happening on X. But most importantly, these debates have occurred between two popular content creators, Sneako and DJ Akademiks. They've had,
which is an odd friendship to begin with, but you know,
a series of debates about the issue. Sneako defending Chud the Builder's right to use the N-word, with DJ Akademiks taking the opposite position. And while these debates were cordial, it came to a point where things started getting a little heated.
Like, your opinion, you should say, hey, I don't identify with the black plight at all. So when these guys are saying what Chud the Builder is doing is hurtful or is disrespectful or offensive, I'm going to stay out of this one. Because even though I have 1/8 drop of blood in me that is black, I can't identify with no more. That's all you got to say. Stick with Palestine.
So although Akademiks is a Jamaican American, he understands that somebody like Chud the Builder would see him no different. So he's including himself in all of the black issues.
As he should.
And when Sneako heard what Akademiks said, he said this.
If Akademiks is telling me to stop speaking on black folks, bro, you could just tell them stop speaking on Americans, go back to Jamaica, you know?
Bombuka!
Why are you speaking?
Whoa, he pulled FBA on him.
About American issues. Chud the Builder, this is an American issue. I think you should talk about Jamaican issues. You're not from America. Speak on your country. Speak on Oxtail. And wine. American issues, this is separate. Okay, this is for FBAs, Foundational Black Americans.
Now, Sneako.
Don't go for that from Sneako.
Would use the foundational black American argument to attempt to disarm DJ Akademiks, citing that he was from Jamaica, and if he, Sneako, couldn't speak on black issues, neither could DJ Akademiks, who technically was born in Jamaica. Now this brings us to Poetik Flakko, who published this video on May 25th, 2026 that says, DJ Akademiks and Sneako officially declared war on each other. And while I won't go into the details of that video, here's the part that's important.
So what Sneako does is he begins to weaponize a group of people that despise Akademiks. And who is that group of people? Well, the FBA, you're right? The FBA group led by...
I love it when they call it the FBA.
Tariq Nasheed.
Now, on the surface level, this doesn't necessarily seem like a diss or a bad thing, because FBA is Foundational Black American. The most prominent voice of FBA is Tariq Nasheed.
But he's not the leader. He always say that. I'm not the leader. He's not the leader.
The term Foundational Black American was created by Tariq Nasheed.
But he's not the leader. He's not the leader.
Most of the merchandise or organization of events using hashtag FBA are Foundational Black American, for the most part, to my knowledge, is associated with Tariq Nasheed.
But he's not the leader.
So then, how was their beef? Now, Tariq Nasheed is a very polarizing figure, with a lot of people not liking him at all. And that brings us to a content creator called FD Signifier.
Hey, XD Signifier. I hate him. No, I don't hate him. I actually enjoy his content, but I don't agree with almost anything he says. But I really enjoy his stuff. So shout out to FD Signifier. I think he's too thoughtful. Is that such a thing?
Now, FD Signifier also has another channel in which he posts regularly called FD Streams. And on April 16th, 2026, FD Streams, who also has a serious problem with hashtag FBA, created a video called America First Will Never Include Black People. Of course, this video would take shot at some of the anti-African rhetoric that hashtag FBA has, including Tariq Nasheed himself. And again, no harm, no foul. So where does...
I think I watched that video. That's when he said he never heard, he grew up around Nigerians and he never heard them call Akata or whatever the word is to be disrespectful to black people. And my argument to him would be, why would they say it around you? Of course not. That's not how it works.
Poetik Flakko coming to this. Now, Poetik Flakko is hitting it out the park right now. he typically covers hip hop as a genre. He would wait until April 22nd, 2026, and he would make a video called Really Bad News for Tariq Nasheed.
They got him extra greasy in that picture.
And interestingly enough, he would start off the video saying this.
FD Signifier just went crazy, crashed out, and unleashed on Tariq Nasheed. Now, watching this video, I was torn.
Unleash. Flakko's so dramatic.
Because on one hand, I'm African. So for clear and obvious reasons, you could see why I would be rooting in favor of FD Signifiers and Cam James' ideology. But then on the other hand, I'm friends with Tariq Nasheed, if y'all even think that's possible.
Now, this is a very interesting take.
But Tariq does say he doesn't have a beef with Africans in general. Shit, he made 10 movies about Africa and all that other stuff. I think his beef is allegedly the beef between people who cosplay as Black Americans and then do things that are against us and try to speak for us and stuff like that. And it's like, how can you speak for us if you're from somewhere else? Now, what I do understand is because of his rhetoric and the way he talks with jokes and stuff like that, a lot of his followers, although he may not be the leader, people do follow him. You're the leader of somebody. His followers have accepted the word tether, as he uses, for people who come inside of our communities and try to manipulate. They use that as a general insult for anybody who Tariq doesn't agree with. You know what I'm saying? If you go against, I get called a tether on a regular basis. I've never even been out of America. You know what I'm saying? Me or my family. You understand what I'm saying? So I think it certainly has been weaponized in a lot of ways.
For Poetik Flakko. And I can tell you why. Number one, he says, I'm kind of stuck in between two opinions because on one hand, you know, FD Signifier is defending Africans such as myself, but then at the same time, I'm a good friend of Tariq Nasheed. Well, I would push back on that because number one, Poetik Flakko named the video Really Bad News for Tariq Nasheed. Now, the reality was it wasn't really bad news for Tariq Nasheed. So if you title a video Really Bad News for Tariq Nasheed, unless you're trolling, it almost insinuates that you believe that whoever is claiming or alleging something against Tariq Nasheed has already won the moral argument. So
I don't know if that's true. Maybe he's just trying to get somebody to click on the video. Unfortunately, people ask me about this all the time too. Oh, why would you say this? And if that wasn't true, I'm not going to lie in the thumbnail, but I will sensationalize something. So to say something is really bad news, it depends on how you look at it.
When I look at that or somebody else sees that, it's obvious that you two are not friends at all.
Yeah, Tariq is a YouTuber too. You think he mad? I don't know. I guess O'Shea will tell us.
Because if Tariq Nasheed was your friend, it would seem like you would. Yeah, it seems like
maybe he did.
You might call him and say, hey, I want to make this video or something like that.
Maybe he
but
did.
I don't really think that this happened. But then Poetik Flakko would take a little bit of umbrage towards FBA by saying this.
But then they say tether hairline. Oh, tether babble. Tether this, tether that, right?
And that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it definitely becomes just a general shots fired at anybody from another country. You don't even have to be from another country. Just if you disagree with Tariq's ideas, you're not a tether, just so you know that.
Like you wouldn't say tether hairline if it was not a racial slur, right? If it was a description for somebody who come here and cosplay as a Black American, then like you would use it as it's defined. The minute you start to use it outside of the actual definition and description, it then becomes a racial slur because you're using it to dehumanize somebody.
Flakko, that's too logical for a lot of these dudes. Don't try to do that.
Poetik Flakko is in the hip hop genre, which is dominated by, a lot of people in the foundational Black American community, and some of his commentary that might be offensive to foundational Black Americans. He typically is called a tether, and he doesn't feel that that's fair for other people. So there he is in this video already showing some level of concern from the dehumanizing speech, according to him, towards Africans such as himself. But he would also say something else in this video.
FD made some pretty strong declarations during this video. He will label and declare Tariq Nasheed's group FBA as white supremacist and blackface. He would even make a comparison.
A little bit. I ain't gonna lie. I agree with the base principles of it, but when you start shooting at one another and you decided that your enemy looks like you, no matter how you put it, to me that's a little bit white supremacist. I don't care how you put it. When your enemy is like, I'm not saying that tethering doesn't happen. It certainly happens, and it's certainly a problem. I just don't believe it is the problem. That's not our problem. More than anything is our hatred of ourselves, if you ask me. And then, of course, we get systematic racism, But the thing about when people talk about systematic racism, it's a system that's already been put in place. That's why people of today can be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about white people of today that's like, listen, I never owned no slaves. I never did. They can have that argument because it's a system. It's a mindset. I think it's more mental things we do to ourselves more than anybody else. Of course, there are issues where people not going to like you because of what you look like. Of course, no doubt about it. Yeah. Does racism exist? Absolutely. But more than anything, I'm telling you, our hatred of ourselves is more destructive than anything anybody can do on the outside. And yes, that was put in play by the system. These are my opinions. Argue with me in the comments if you don't agree.
Between FBA and Trump's MAGA.
Again, he's calling this Tariq Nasheed's group. Okay? He's saying
it's not his group. He makes the t-shirts. He made the flag. People follow him and they do everything he say, but he's not the leader and it's not his group. It's a lineage. I already know. I can hear y'all now. FBA is a lineage of the people that was born here, were born as a slave. I know. I get it. I just did a name change, a rebrand on black. That's what it is. Black, regular American black, regular black. Y'all did a rebrand. It's just like Jesse Jackson tried to rebrand it to African American, or it was Afro American before that and all that. It's a rebrand brand on black by Tariq Nasheed. I don't know.
So it's the second time that he said that. Now, the first time Tariq Nasheed didn't respond. That was in April. But by May, the Sneako Akademiks video that was done not too many days ago on May 25th, this got Tariq Nasheed upset. And once Tariq Nasheed decided to get upset, there is going to be a level of pettiness that came along with this.
Okay.
And what do I mean?
Three goes in.
Tariq Nasheed would post, "What's with Flakko going out of his way?"
How you gonna go to the BBL situation? That's Corey Holcomb level pettiness. Flakko, man, you gotta get in the gym, man. They keep doing this to you. And why the first thing people? I'm not even gonna get into it.
Tariq Nasheed would post, "What's with Flakko going out of his way to disparage our foundational Black American lineage lately?" And then he would post a photo of Poetik Flakko that resembles the original picture of Sarah Bartman, the Hottentot Venus, where she had this like really big ass and the white men were taking her all around the world showing it off, and he put Poetik Flakko in that same photo.
Steopedia.
And the way that we know that is because it says underneath his post, "Made with AI." Got him! Now, at first, people would get into the comments and you would say, "Flakko is an enemy and is salty, mad about a lot of things. I've heard him throwing subliminal shots at FBA. His channel on YouTube keeps popping up in my timeline when I scroll, so I'll be watching some of his videos. You are right about Flakko." Then Tariq would say, "He's deliberately framing FBA as a group and deliberately lying about me being the leader. That is denigrating our lineage." So now we're understanding what the problem is.
He's not the leader. He just made the t-shirts and the flag and the setup and the website and the movie.
Tariq. It may not necessarily be that he disagrees with some of the rhetoric that Flakko is having, although I think that he definitely disagrees with that. But he is saying that, number one, you're calling me the leader, and that's denigrating our lineage because our lineage existed before me, but I just gave it a different name. That's what he's saying. Then Kaiju came in and says, Flakko never disparaged FBA. If you're going to grift, at least share the full context of the video. He's saying that Sneako was weaponizing the FBA community, even though Sneako is not an FBA, which is definitely true. I can agree to that. Now, guess who came in the chat? Flakko shows up in the chat and he says, Tariq Nasheed, I think you're just looking for beef, Tariq. I didn't disparage anything. The full context of this video was the irony of Sneako, who has criticized you in the past, is now trying to use FBA, which many attribute to you to go against Akademiks. This is just a flat out lie. Tariq Nasheed will respond. You have sat with me multiple times, and you know good and well that FBA is not a group.
I just make the t-shirts and the websites and the cutlery and some jackets with patches on them.
You know that I'm not the leader of foundational Black Americans. You deliberately said that as a diss to the lineage. So
now that's a dog whistle. This to the lineage, that's him calling the FBA.
Question was, could I find any evidence that Tariq Nasheed has explained this to Poetik Flakko, and is there proof? Rewind! So it is true that Poetik Flakko and Tariq Nasheed have at least sat together on camera one time. I know that they have probably recorded more than once, but this video for me was good enough, okay? Now, Poetik Flakko is sitting right across from Tariq Nasheed. Mm-hmm. When Poetik Flakko is going to ask about the trademark directly to Tariq Nasheed in front of Adam 22. And what happens?
Now, I personally don't care, but they were saying that the FBA, that the Foundation Black American trademark got abandoned, up on the floor,
He trademarked it? Did he trademark it? So he made the t-shirts, he trademarked it, and he can run the website, and he made the flag, but not the leader. He definitely not the leader.
We clearly hear what Flakko's question is. Who owns the trademark to FBA? Flakko said, hey, listen, I had to ask you this question, but here's why. Tariq said,
we still got the FBA trademark, and it's for clothes. So you can't,
gotcha.
Because you can't trademark a lineage. You can't say this lineage.
Okay, just the clothes. I get it.
You can't trademark Puerto Rican as a lineage. So we have different products and we have different events under the name FBA. So there's different ways you can trademark it. You have to trademark different things.
So Tariq says, listen, it's for clothes and some of the other things that we do, but you cannot trademark a lineage. Just like you can't trademark Puerto Rican as a lineage. So we have different products and different events under the name FBA.
That's hard. I'm gonna grab one.
So there's different ways you can trademark it. You have to trademark different things. So yeah, Poetik Flakko obviously seems to understand what he's saying. He's agreeing. So you can imply that if he understands what he's saying about you can't trademark Puerto Rican as a lineage, if FBA is a lineage like Puerto Ricans, then there is no one leader of Puerto Ricans by that logic. And there's not one leader of FBA. Poetik Flakko seems to understand that. He would then clarify again.
Because you
But also, Puerto Rico existed before the clothing line. How long did the term FBA exist before Tariq Nasheed? I mean, Claude Anderson, that's not the same thing. I mean, the specific term FBA, and not only the term, the abbreviation. It's not like it's called Black people clothing.
no matter what you do, you cannot trademark a lineage.
Of course.
You dig? You can trademark certain products. So we use the term FBA for certain events and certain products that we sell.
line up clean.
Somebody wanted to trademark it for something else, they could. That's not going to stop the
Still got
movement
the ash on
because
it,
it's a
though.
lineage.
He goes back to it that other people, if they wanted to trademark it for something else, that they could, but it's not going to stop the movement because the movement also is a what? It's a lineage. Now, at a certain point earlier in the video, Tariq Nasheed explains to him how he came up with the term foundational Black American.
I'd been using the term Native Black American because I got it from a man named Claude Anderson, who's been using the term Native Black American for years. And when using the term Native Black American, sometimes people would get confused by that. They were like, do you mean a Black Cherokee, a Black, Seminole? No. I said, let me change that term a little bit and call it foundational Black American so we don't have any confusion, so people don't confuse us with Native Americans. And then the movement kind of took off from there.
So Tariq Nasheed says, listen, there are other people who've had these ideas before me. He cites Mr. Norris Shelton from Louisville, Kentucky, who is the primary architect of #ADOS, Dr. Claude Anderson, who was using the term Native Black American. But Tariq Nasheed says people were getting confused from Native Black American to Native American. So he came out with #foundational Black American. So he cites that there are others who came before him who have tried to do these similar things, and he's not the architect of those ideas. And he does recognize that the lineage starts before him, therefore he cannot own it. He just owns this term, and so that nobody else will own it.
It's black, regular black people. Anything other than that is something created. Not saying that even calling us black isn't something created, but I'm just saying, don't pretend like this isn't something you created. You just said you decided to make it more streamlined in a way that people can understand better. Call it what you want. That's a group. Maybe. Allegedly.
Seems like that Poetik Flakko did was he accepted the decision that particular time. Once he left No Jumper, he really didn't accept Tariq Nasheed's ideology about the lineage. So then he's just started to say that Tariq Nasheed's group is X, Y, and Z. Although he had every opportunity to say, well, listen, no, I don't agree with that. I believe that it's your group. He did not say that. He said the opposite. So now that's where we are right now as far as a certain beef. Poetik Flakko, at least right now, has not responded. I mean, I think Poetik Flakko is doing a great job as a YouTuber. I mean, obviously I have a lot of respect for Tariq Nasheed. So I'm just seeing what's going to happen next. I do see certain levels of evidence that Tariq Nasheed had educated Poetik Flakko on this matter. It seems that Poetik Flakko rejected what he heard and just, went to his own ideology.